What's going on, guys? It's Seth Ward here, and today I am back with another college football prediction video, and this time I'll be talking about the Texas Longhorns versus the Ohio State Buckeyes with the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic in the semifinals for the 2024-2025 college football playoff bracket. And man, Texas and Arizona State, that game was crazy. I thought that when Texas was up 14-3, that after that punt return touchdown and Quinn Ewers with a nice passing touchdown as well, I thought that Texas was just going to blow out Arizona State, because Arizona State all game long was trying until the fourth quarter when Texas gave up a safety to make it 5-24, and then a field goal. They made a field goal to make it 24-8, and then an interception to make it 24-16, and then Cam Scatterbo. Never really watched this guy play all season long. This man makes a halfback pass to tie the game, to go for two, to make it 24-24. I don't know about the end, about that with that targeting call, because that was kind of shady, because I guess they wanted Texas to win because in the SEC type of thing. But it is what it is. But I like Texas. Used to not like him that much, but I don't mind Texas. Even though I wish they were still in the Big 12, because I hate the SEC. I can't stand the SEC in general, because they are the best conference in football, and whatever. But that questionable call kind of turned the tables in favor of Texas, and of course Arizona State could have go down the field, waste the clock, and maybe kick a field goal. But their field goal kickers are terrible. They had to filter out so many field goal kickers. Just is crazy to even think about that. But boy, if Texas didn't win this game, that kicker for Texas, Auburn's his last name, he probably would have had death threats, because he missed two winnable kicks. And it was just not great for him, even though he's usually pretty solid in kicking. And of course, he failed to contribute twice. Though he did, and though they went to overtime, eventually Texas won in double overtime with the interception to seal the deal. Great game by Cam Scatterbo, and just the quarterback as well. Haven't really watched any of that much of Arizona State, but they balled out at the end and gave it their all. And so hats off to Dillingham as the head coach as well. Also, I will be talking about Penn State and whoever they play tomorrow night. Thoughts and prayers to those who lost their loved ones in a tragic situation, horrible situation in New Orleans. So, and hopefully everything will get situated tomorrow. So between Notre Dame and Georgia, just a terrible, terrible situation that happened during the New Year's celebration. All right. So Texas, I don't know what's up with them, because they start out great in the first half, but then they just, for whatever reason, they just stop playing in the second half. They get too conservative, or they'll just start playing weird, and they make up some bad hiccups every now and then. Ohio State, there's no need to comment about Ohio State. Look, they just blew out Tennessee. They took revenge on Oregon, blew out Oregon. It wasn't even Jeremiah Smith. That man is just incredible to watch as a freshman wide receiver. Didn't watch that game. I actually was going to turn on to watch that game, but then I saw Ohio State basically went up 24-0 to 31-8. I was just like, yeah, I'm not watching that game. But Jeremiah Smith had a crazy game that game, apparently, from just reading Twitter. For sometimes, if I don't watch the games, I'll just look at the box score, and then I'll look at my Twitter feed, because it's just the real time of the game. So let's go ahead and go through the stats for both games, and then I'll put my final prediction of the both games. Did I do this twice? I did. I'm an idiot. All right, whatever. Anyways, all right. So Texas, Quinn Ewers had a good game if you see on the box score, but at the end he struggled, and then he came along at the end of the overtime. Though the interception almost cost them the game. A lot of fans, Texas fans, want Arch Manning in, which I understand, but he had a good game. Okay, he had a solid, not a solid game. I'll say a C+ game, if that's what you want, a C+. So he had 20 for 30, 322 yards. Averaged about 10.7 yards per throw, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. The running game today wasn't that great. Arizona State had a great defensive line. I didn't really, yeah. So they pretty much stopped the run game, even though last game Texas just destroyed Clemson in the running game. But Matthew Golden was a beast for Texas, made some great, unbelievable catches, and of course Gunnar Helm at the end sealed the deal for Texas to win, and of course the interception. So Matthew Golden had about 7 receptions, 149 receiving yards, averaged about 21.3 per touchdown. And then Gunnar Helm had a great game with 1 touchdown. Of course, DeAndre Moore had a touchdown, I think, at the end of the OT overtime. And of course, defense, they played really well. They played really solid the whole game until at the end when just Arizona State had some trickery plays, and then they just came along. They heated up at the end. Of course, Andrew Mukaba had the solid pick at the end to win the seal of the deal. And they just, I don't understand. Let me see what the stats, the team stats right here. Total yards. Let me just talk about total yards. They had 375. Running game was an issue, but their passing was solid. I wouldn't say solid. It was good. And of course, they had 1 turnover and they had 22 minutes. And of course, Arizona State had the most, which is crazy. Almost had 40 minutes of that game. Honestly, there really isn't that much to talk about Ohio State here because they just dismantled Oregon, which I was actually shocked to see. Dylan Gabriel still had an okay game, even though he went 29 for 41. Will Howard had a solid game, 17 for 26, 319 yards, 12.3 yards per throw, 3 touchdowns. Trevion Henderson, solid game from him, 8 carries, 94 yards, 11.8 yards per average of carry, 2 touchdowns. Jeremiah Smith, once again, a freshman, just unreal. I wish he was a senior this year because the Panthers need a wide receiver. And then Emeka also had a solid game as well. Had 72 yards, 1 touchdown. Jeremiah Smith, 187, almost 200 of receiving yards with 2 touchdowns, which is crazy. And then there's no fumbles, no interceptions, and then the top 3 defensive players. Cody Simon had 11 tackles, 3 tackles for losses, which is insane. 2 sacks, he had a solid day. Ransom had 7 tackles. I'll probably just destroy these names. Had 1 sack and 1 tackles for loss. And of course, Jordan Hancock had 5 tackles. So they had a solid day against Oregon. Oregon just flopped that game. I mean, sheesh. And then the team stats wise, Ohio State had 500 total yards. That's insane. Had 181 yards of rushing, 319 yards of passing. Just dismantling Oregon, 41-21. All right, so going back to this game right here, it's going to be at AT&T Stadium, which is basically in Texas. Is it in Texas, AT&T Stadium? I think so, yeah. In Arlington, Texas with Dallas Cowboys. Which is basically home field advantage, if you could say that. But Ohio State, I'm gonna go with minus 10 points with Ohio State here, just by being gracious here. I honestly dislike Ohio State. I used to hate Texas, but I don't like Ohio State, so I'm going to cheer for Texas in this game. But I'm going to go with Ohio State in this game by minus 10 points because, I mean, they're just on a roll. After that Michigan game, just lit a spark on this team. They dismantled Tennessee at home. They dismantled Oregon on a revenge game. And now Texas has to be on point because if they start out flat in the second half like they did against Arizona State and let Arizona State come back in and almost beat them, they would do the same thing with Ohio State. Ohio State would beat them by like 40 points if that happens. But Texas has to come out not flat in the second half. They actually have to play just on par. Quinn Ewers, please just play normal in the second half. All the Texas fans don't like you already. And so some do, some don't. But they got to figure out something in the second half because I don't know what it is. They start playing conservatively. But yeah. All right, guys. This is Setford here. Hope you enjoy this video. And comment down below what you guys think. Happy New Year. And I'm going to go with Ohio State in this one by minus 10 points. I hope Texas wins because I can't stand Ohio State. But I'm going with Ohio State here with minus 10 points. All right, guys. Seth Ford here. Y'all have a great rest of the day. Peace out.